There's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Arey. So the Super Mario Bros. Movie is stuffed with Easter eggs from the games that made Mario, as well as the actors who brought the character to life. The score and visual elements are plucked straight from the cartridges they came from, giving fans a lot to look for. So in this video, we're going to cover all the Easter eggs, references, and little things that you missed in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
That already sounds better than the one from 1993, right?
Well, we'll get to that later. The film opens up in Brooklyn, which is not only consistent with its history, but it's also chock full of references to the original influences for Mario. One of the first and most obvious is the inclusion of Charles Martinet, the original voice actor for Mario.
But wait, if they had the original voice actor, why'd they use Chris Pratt?
So great question, Doug. A really great question.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
That didn't even make sense.
Neither did Nintendo's decision of Mario's voice. Anyways, while Martinet also voices Mario's dad, his first appearance is as a character named Giuseppe. This is a reference to a character from a popular dorky animation called Regular Giuseppe, the third Mario Bro. He's also dressed as Jumpman.
Alright, who's Jumpman?
Jumpman was the original name for Mario's character when he first appeared in Donkey Kong, and while his color scheme is similar, he actually wears a blue shirt and red overalls, the exact opposite of Mario. A Jumpman arcade machine can be seen in the pizzeria, which has the original Donkey Kong game playing on it. Aspects of the original Donkey Kong game are also present in the Kong fight scene, with Kong throwing barrels and Mario bouncing off red steel construction beams. Even the original damsel in distress, Pauline, the OG princess from the Donkey Kong game, makes a quick cameo as a news reporter. Additionally, in Brooklyn, we also see a billboard with an ad for a car wash featuring Balloon Man from Balloon Fight, which was another Nintendo-made arcade game that influenced the creation of Mario. There's even a few references to the game Wrecking Crew. The character Spike is one of the main characters from the game, which was later parodied by Disney in Wreck-It Ralph.
I'm gonna wreck it!
Even Fix-It Felix, the parody version of Spike, seems to be making an appearance in some of the final fight scenes of the film.
I can fix it!
One of the more direct references made in the film is when we see Mario playing Kid Icarus, which is another Nintendo platformer that created a major role in the creation of Mario. Its main character, Pit, is also a character in Smash Bros., which gets its fair share of nods in this movie too.
Success!
Punch-Out Pizza in Brooklyn is a reference to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and home of one famous Smash brother, Little Mac. And the entire restaurant is filled with references to the game. There's Arwing from Star Fox on top of Mario's TV. Some of the posters in Mario's room also reference different Smash Bros. Characters, one being a clear nod to the Ice Climbers, and another is a clear reference to F-Zero, the game featuring everyone's favorite Flaming Fist.
Falcon Punch!
Even some of Toad's lines and weapon choices
I will protect you.
are references to Peach's attacks in the famous platformer brawler. The Kongs got a particularly big spotlight in the film too. We saw Diddy, Dixie, Chunky, Cranky, and Funky Kong, and even got a bit of the DK rap, even if all the fun parts were edited out. There's also a rhino emblem seen on the Kong's cart, which is a reference to Rambi the rhino. Yoshi also makes more than one appearance and is repping a much cuter look than his previous on-screen debut. We've also seen herds of multicolor Yoshi, which makes the end credits scene feel a little bit odd since we've already seen Yoshi in the movie.
But these are all games featuring Mario. Are there any Easter eggs from Mario's actual games?
Oh my god, of course. The film features a pantheon of Mario's most common enemies, from some of the more popular ones like Goombas, the Hammer Brothers, and the Koopas, to some of the lesser knowns like Bramball and King Bob-omb. The film's score makes it sound like one of Mario's many adventures, and honestly, it's one of the best parts of the film. From the dungeon theme to the underground theme and the iconic jingle of the very first world. There's also plenty of more direct references to the games. Lumily, the actual star of the film, is a character from Mario Galaxy. In part of the film, she's seen floating just outside of her cage, meaning that she's staying captive of her own free will. Many scenes take heavy influence from Super Mario Bros. 3, from the raccoon suit, to the shape of the architecture in the Mushroom Kingdom. Even Bowser's line about Peach where he says she floats in the air is a callback to Peach's special traversal ability, the floating jump, which allows her to levitate for a short span of time in Mario Bros. 2. The new Super Mario World and Super Mario 3DS show up in some of the abilities chosen, like the Ice Flower and the cat suit, as well as some of the level designs, like the clear pipes and the plumbing van. The design of Peach's castle is clearly a nod to Super Mario 64, especially with the portraits, as is the inclusion of Unagi the eel. And Bowser's wedding scene is straight out of Super Mario Odyssey.
Brooklyn also looks a lot like New Donk City too.
Totally, and Mario's many sports games are referenced by posters in his room. And even the giant mystery box that Peach uses to train Mario is a reference to the Lego Mario mystery box set. But probably the most referenced friendship-ruining game mentioned is Mario Kart. Tons of the film takes place on various Mario Kart tracks, and we even get cameos from Baby Mario, Luigi, and Peach. The gliders and Zero zero-gravity wheels are all new features added into some of the more recent games, as is the option to customize your vehicle as we see in the Kong Garage. Although it is strange that the one time they use the blue shell, it hits Mario, who was not in the lead. Regardless, these scenes feel a lot like Mad Max, with the war rigs charging through the herd of ridiculously rigged out carts and even an ambush in a canyon.
Wait, a Mad Max reference in a Mario movie?
Yeah, it's a little odd, but it could also be a reference to the fact that Anna Taylor-Joy is playing Furiosa in the prequel movies. Rina Romano voices Uncle Tony, which is particularly funny because he also worked on the Scarface video game. There are also a few Marvel references that seem like an homage to Chris Pratt, one of the most obvious being the Mr. Blue Skies playing as he wakes up. The poison mushroom scene also feels like something out of Ant-Man, and Mario literally pulls an Iron Man by guiding the bullet into a portal into another dimension. Even the way he warps into the Mushroom Kingdom has big-time MCU Bifrost vibes.
That feels like more Easter eggs than usual, even for this time of year.
Look, I would say this is maybe the second best Mario movie, maybe third if you count The Wizard.
But I thought you hated the first one.
Well look, both movies have very similar plot lines. The Mushroom Kingdom is presented as a parallel dimension, just like Dino Hatton was, and even some of the scenes and sets seem to mirror the 1993 film. In both films, amazing actors play surprisingly generic versions of the Koopa King as they try to conquer the real world. But the 1993 film is so bad that it can be appreciated for just how bad it is.
Like the Star Wars Holiday Special?
We don't talk about that. But anyways, the 1993 film being so bad it's good is in stark contrast to this recent film. The sheer amount of Easter eggs and references clearly show that they know the source material. The movie tries so hard and it misses just as hard in some places. Some of the funny moments come from meta references to the actor, like DK's signature Seth Rogen laugh.
You got the cat box! Oh my... I'm sorry. Okay. Now you die.
Or, like, literally just Lumily. It's also mind-blowing to me that you could have Jack Black being the most Jack Black ever, singing about peaches and bisexual lighting and not using it as a chance to hear him cover the song by the presidents of the United States.
Peaches come from a can. They were put there by a man.
There's also some really weird needle drops, like we go to Donkey Kong Country and hear Take On Me, but like everybody's not dressed as an 80s character, so it was just sort of a pointless needle drop. Like, was Welcome to the Jungle too expensive? It would have been perfect. And like the 1993 film, it tries to address some of the common holes in Mario's narrative, such as why Peach and Mario Brothers happen to be the only humans in the Mushroom Kingdom. But instead of at least trying to provide some creative solutions, they just poke fun at the world and refuse to answer the questions that they themselves just asked.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Charlie Day was fantastic as Luigi, but he got very little screen time. Now, while we were hoping for some Luigi's Mansion references, the best we got were some spooky forest scenes, a flashlight, and the GameCube sound as Luigi's ringtone. But probably the most important detail is the erasure of our iconic plumber Crack. When the initial trailers dropped, fans noticed that Mario had lost a lot of junk in his trunk, and in the film, his backside still looks like it's taken one too many ground pounds, especially with the amount of jumping he does. His Koopa Crusher should be thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
You didn't even mention how they villainized the dog at the beginning of the movie. They stepped on his bone, and then they make him the bad guy for trying to stand his ground.
Right, unbelievable. John Leguizamo would never. Now, after the success of Detective Pikachu, you would think this would be an easy opportunity to get the Mario movie franchise back on track. So the path to possible sequels about Luigi's Mansion, Wario, or even a Smash Brothers movie might be trickier than a Rainbow Road. But what did you guys think of the Mario movie? Any important details we missed? Let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Arey.